Hello, everybody. Hope you're gearing up for an epic summer. Jonathan and I are here, and we are here for the Summer School Robotics. Our goal today is maybe to make you fall in love with these robots even more. No, but also to get you set up for success for our 4 sessions. Each week is going to feature a different robot and a series of activities. And if you are interested in this resource deck, it's up to you. It's optional, but bit.ly summer robot fun. And because I think that Jonathan and I love these robots. We can have so much fun with them.
Totally. They're so much fun. You can spend all you can spend the whole summer on one of them, let alone all 4.
Yeah.
So,
easily.
Totally.
There's so much fun to be had, but if you just want these details to remind you of, because our first one is not till July 3rd. So if you do want to just table this for another day, maybe you're like me and you just said goodbye to the students today and you need, a couple days to wrap your head around something else, feel free to come back to this bit.ly summer robot fun. But I'm Emma Cottier. I am a full-time grade 8 teacher outside of Victoria, British Columbia. Like Jonathan, I've been part of the Robotics team for several years now, and it's a pleasure to be here.
And I'm Jonathan So. I'm a vice principal in Ontario. So on the other side, where Emma is, only 3 hours behind? No, ahead of you. Ahead of you.
You're ahead. Yep.
Some of that. I know.
It's dinner. We're finishing lunch.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You're finishing lunch. I'm finishing my day. So it's all good. And only one more day for us to survive. So it's all nice and handy there. But we're looking forward to the summer sessions that we're going to have together. And let's get started with some of the overview of this stuff.
Perfect. Thanks, Jonathan. Before we begin, I do want to acknowledge I'm on the traditional territory of the West Sanish people, Haishka. I am so fortunate. I have grown up on these beautiful Coast Salish lands. Something that I appreciate the most, I'm on a little geography lesson, on the very southern end of Vancouver Island, and we're essentially ocean 270 degrees around us, and traditionally known as the saltwater people. And I grew up on these lands. I was a student on these lands, and I teach on these lands. So I've been in the same school district my whole life, and I'm just so thankful. So, Haishka. We are, of course, like I said, a part of Logix Academy. If you are newer to Logix, welcome. It's great to have you here. We are a provider of STEM solutions. So we do everything from workshops to robotics, anything you can possibly imagine. We have a ton of different partnerships with great companies, and it is just our passion to share technology with you. And before we dive in, a huge thank you to First Canada for their generous support of the workshop and these 4 sessions. So without them, we wouldn't be here doing what we love with these robots. And also a big thank you to CanCode. They're also a generous supporter of these workshops. So it is a series of 4. You can choose, we'll be going over them, but just know you can pick and choose what fits best for your students. There's no pressure to do all 4. You can even sign up for them and choose what recordings or do it live, whatever works for you. Just in case you didn't know, we are a Microsoft and Education global training partner. Minecraft, we are a global training partner for Minecraft. We love Jonathan also. We love robots, but we also love Minecraft. And we're an Apple professional learning provider, and we just are doing really cool things all the time. Our plan today, this is our plan. We have about half an hour with you, and it is our hope to help you become more familiar with the 4 sessions, what they involve, what it looks like, what it might mean for you. By the way, teachers, very minimal, no effort on your part. Basically, clicking play will take care of the rest for you. We will be showcasing the 4 different robots. Each week is a different robot. And of course, to build some excitement, because Jonathan and I think this is really cool and a really great opportunity for your students. So we want to make sure that you are feeling comfortable, and we want to set you up for success. So let's get started. So this is a little graphic, just in case you didn't see, but this is part of the summer school series. You'll see the bottom where you see dash on a little inner tube. That's the summer robotics series, the Explore with Robots. The goal is to use robots to kind of highlight some numeracy and literacy skills. But just know there is also opportunities through Codingville, and that's for grades 2 to 5. And there's also some opportunities with Find the Voice. So those are our different categories categories of the summer programming. And like I said, we have our robotic programming, that's the bottom there, and it's designed for grades 1 through 9. And this is kind of the overview of the program. You might have seen this when you went to the Logix website and registered, or maybe you'll register, maybe you wanted to like a little taster and then register. But our whole purpose of our program is just to explore learning with robotics, to ignite creativity, problem solving. And like I said, each week focuses on a really cool robot and is adjusted for different grade levels. So our younger students will program a Dash robot to act out stories. Our older students will do more with like sensors and coding, block-based or different types of coding to build their capacity for technical writing and data analysis and mathematical precision. Jonathan is a big math person.
There's so much
my math, but Jonathan has some next level math skills. And this series, so it's a 4-part series, is just perfect for showing how literacy and numeracy are just essential building blocks for innovation. And teachers will fun. Students may not even know that you're focusing on the skills because the lessons are just that engaging. So here's a little overview. I won't necessarily read you the blurbs because if you're here, you probably already know. But part 1 is kickstarting. I believe these are Thursdays, July 3rd. It's at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. So our first one is Dash. Jonathan's going to tell you about them, but I love that adorable blue curvy robot. Part 2 is our interactive games with Cody Rocky. That's happening on July 10th. Part 3 is our data science with our Cyber Pi. And part 4 is going to be inventing with fidgets. So I will be helping you with parts 1 and 2, and Jonathan will be helping with parts 3 and 4 of this 4-part series. If you are new to Logix or are not quite sure what a co-taught lesson is, you will get a link and you can decide if you want to join live. We, of course, love to see people live, but we understand timing doesn't always work. And you just need to simply click play. And after you click play, we will take the reins for you. We just... I think the best thing for you is to support your students and maybe help them with their robots, but we will take care of all the instructions. We will guide them through. Each lesson has a couple of different activities, and we just love it if you can encourage them with their robots, and there might be the occasional problem solving, but we take care of all the activities. We take care of all the planning for you, and we have all the instructions. So everything is this really nice, easy, digestible unit for you, just hitting play. Jonathan, anything you would add to our co-taughts?
No, pretty much all you have to do is pause and play. And when you're done, when you're like, I don't think my students are, heard all that lesson, or you just want to, you pause and play. And then that is all you need to know, right? And then you get to interact with us as well through a Google form. That we can talk to one another, give shout outs to your kids if you want to ask a question, and it helps us out. But pretty much you just follow along, pause and play.
Yeah, and you'll see us right here on the screen, just like this. And I love it. I use co-taught with my own students. I absolutely love it. And as a teacher, right, because I'm both. I live in the virtual world, but I'm also a teacher on the front lines. I love how it takes the pressure off. And I do want to add, you might not get through all of the one lesson in one day, and that's okay. You can certainly follow up another day or do it in multiple parts. You choose what is best for your students and for your schedule. All right, here are just some of the nitty-gritty logistical details. Each of our lessons, each of the 4 lessons are designed to be about 1 hour. So we will be live on the recording for 1 hour. It is a combo of us facilitating, playing some recordings of the robots in action with our wonderful Dominic. He's on our team with us here. Jonathan has told you you can pause it at any time. So you can pause it to make sure your students are set up with their robots. You can pause it to take longer on a particular activity. It's totally up to you. As Jonathan mentioned, there will be a forum where you can ask questions, where you can celebrate students, where students can, share victory on their lesson, because like I said, there is a really cool activity, like Dash in particular goes to a zoo, and you can use Dash to narrate that story. And as I mentioned, these lessons are also recorded. So if you, for whatever reason, your schedule changes for the day, but you still want to do it, that's okay. You will get the recording and you can decide when it fits best in your summer teaching schedule. Now, Jonathan's going to take the reins and he's going to tell you, not maybe tell you, because tell seems so like he's just going to share his passion for these 4 robots.
So the first robot that we have is our Dash. And this is probably the first robot I fell in love with. One, it's pretty cute when it winks at you. So I don't know, Emma, have you ever made Dash like wink and change color at you?
I haven't, but Dash has certainly winked at me before.
So it's a really good introductory to robotics and the sensors that each of the robots have. So this particular robot, you can see it right there, it has 2 little black front sensors, and there's one sensor at the back of it, which can tell distance and time. It can measure various things. The head does move, so you can have other attachments like xylophones and catapults. You can actually make a little coloring contraption to it. I've done things like Dash Mario Kart type of like balloons, and they have to go and pop each other's balloons by coding it. Now, you gotta be careful about having sharp objects spinning around your classroom, but there's things like that you can do. It's just so much quick extensions to mathematics and language. I've even had a Dash parade, and where they had to like do the 3 Little Pigs, and they like came out with costumes, and you can record your own kids' voices on it. And then they've also designed like actual costumes and had a runway Dash. So they program their Dash to like do their little dance and in their costumes. There used to be a little robot called Dot that would go with it, and it looked like a Dash's eye, and you could program with that too. But it's really cool. And then Logix has free lessons that go with it as well. So once you learn some of the summer stuff that we're doing, you can log into Logix Academy and try some of the free lessons. And then if you get really hooked on it, you can buy the paid versions of things. And there's so much, there's a virtual Dash that you can use. There's math and science along with language. Dash really does have all those connections to it. And like I said, it's a very easy plug and play. And with most of these robots, if not all of them, they work through block code. So just like Scratch, but they use their own little, it looks exactly like Scratch, but it's a drag and drop type of atmosphere through it.
And Dash can even dance.
You
can have a dance party with Dash.
Yeah, you can set up an arm for it and everything, and you can have all those things going on. Okay, so our next robot that we have is our Cody Rocky. Now this one ends up having a little bit more advancedness, but yet not. It's very similar to the idea of what Dash can do, but instead of you can code, and it has different buttons now to hit. So Dash does have other buttons to play with, but now this has an LCD screen. It has the front sensors. You can lift it off. It has the A, C, and B button that allows you to program pretty much anything into the robot. But yet, like your kindergartens and your grade 1s have an easier access to how things work. I don't use this one as much as my Dash, but it's a lot of fun to try and have Dash do have Rocky follow along a line, or have it to measure out a certain distance. It does follow the drag and drop type of tutorials through the MakeBot type of atmosphere, and it has tons of other different sensors that can make your program or the idea of STEM and come more to life. You can also add Lego bricks to it as well, which is something that you can do with Dash, but not as much. Whereas the Cody Rocky allows you to create other extensions to it. Have you, Emma? Have you ever used this one?
A little bit. Something I really like about Cody Rocky, I think that's slightly different from the Dash, is the ability to do some animation. You'll notice Cody Rocky has those like adorable little eyes, but
Eyes, yeah.
you can actually go into the program and you can animate. So, one thing that Cody Rocky can do that Dash can't do is kind of emotions and expressions and some animation. So, Cody Rocky is like, yeah, like John was saying, like maybe slightly more advanced, but still very doable for students. It just has a few more features, and one of them just being the animation with the expressions, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, the LED screen that it has on it is a pretty cool extension to things. But then Dash has voice control into it. There's also a color sensor on the Cody Rocky that Dash doesn't have. So you know
Yeah.
the right that you can follow lines a little
And
bit
the color
easier.
sensors, you can make them, stop when they reach those
Yeah,
colors, which is maybe a little sneak peek into some of the activities you might do in that session.
but it is a very easy way to introduce coding, especially functions and if-then statements and conditionals, and still allow students to feel like they're working with a robot per se.
And teachers, if you want some real street cred with your students, you can actually put messages across that LED screen. So if you are doing the Cody Rocky and maybe the students are coming in the morning, like you could have a nice little good morning greeting or like a simple instruction on there, because words can go across that animation as well.
Okay, so the CyberPi, now we're getting into a lot more extensions and actual like robotic design to it. So I kind of equivalent this to like a microbit on steroids, and it's totally different than a microbit. But this kind of reminds me, when you look at this, it reminds me of the old NES systems, Emma, right? Like the
Oh, yeah.
A and B button with the joystick. But a CyberPi is a very small, programmable single board computer. So there is so much more function that a CyberPi has than the other two robots. It's almost like the hardware built into things, right? So it has a variety of sensors that are already built into it: light, sound, and motion sensors, and a full color display. So that little screen on there, you can actually program a video game and you can play it, right? It also has Wi-Fi capabilities and connectivities. It does support the M block, which is an actual robot. I don't have mine right here right now, but it's an actual like steel-based robot where kids can change the configurations of the robot, and this can actually plug right in, and then you can program this to program the robot. It does both Scratch and Python and Java, so it writes in 3 different languages, and has so much expandability into other things that you wouldn't even think about, right? Like it comes with various programs, but it just has so much more versatility to it. So I like to say that as much as like this is probably more junior into intermediate into high school, you could try it with some younger kids, but it really does extend those coding skills and the STEM skills that we've all grown to love, learning with Dash and learning with the MBot, but this or the Cody Rocky, but this really does allow you to get into the actual coding components and designing around computer science. Have you played this one?
I have, well, I've seen them, but I haven't actually started my coding journey yet with CyberPi.
And they're about the size of your palm, like they're just about that big. So that's the other part. Like they're really tiny, but they work so well with so many other things that are going on.
Cool.
Right. And then the last one is probably my favorite. I was just telling Emma when we were off air. The fidgets are probably my favorite things to play with. And the reason why is because you can introduce a lot of design thinking. And though there is coding, the fidgets are wires and sensors, and they all come together to make various things. So I don't know how best to describe it. It's hard without it. So the basic box starts with like a yes and no motherboard, and it has a plug and play type of thing that you can hook in like light sensors, water sensors, sound sensors, ultrasonic sensors, other motors, touch sensors, motion sensors. You can build your own alarm system. You can build a watering contraption that can tell, your plants are dehydrated and therefore I'm going to water it now. So you really get into the complex ideas of design thinking along with computer science. It's not just like, hey, let's make Dash dance, or let's make Dash move along the way, or let's make the Cody Rocky do that. Even with the Cyberpie is more of a video game type of thing. This has students thinking about cause and effect. I want this to happen, therefore I need this, 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 and this, and I need to code it this way. It has so many different fidget options to it that you're going to be like, oh, what can I do with it, right? So some of the categories that it comes with: temperature and humidity, light and sound, voltage and current, force sensitivity resistors, encoders and interfaces, movement, thermal, gas pressure, loaded cells, rotary position, so like turning, distances, being able to figure out distance, human input, so yes and no input, and so many more, that it allows you to teach kids how to iterate, how to try things, how to, oh, that didn't work, so now I'm going to try it again. And so it brings in everything you've learned from Dash, Cody, and the Cyberpie, and brings it all together to build a system.
Sounds like a fabulous thing to give a try. Well, thank you, Jonathan. Thanks for going over all these robots. I thought maybe before in our session today, I'd go over just some like teacher tips, because I'm a Girl Scout at heart and I like to be prepared, and I don't always love surprises when I go to teach a lesson. So Jonathan and I have put together a few teacher tips to, again, just set you up for success. Our number one thing: ensure your robots are charged and ready to go. It's always good to just double check their connectivity with the devices that you have available. So number one, charge. They do hold their charges really well. Like I think of Dash, you charge them up and they will be good all day. But if you are, say, borrowing, a kit or a class set of Dashes from someone else, don't just assume that they're charged. So maybe the day before, just make sure they all have some battery life and are ready to go. In each of the 4 lessons, I'm just giving you a heads up that there's a bit of some explore time to help kind of students get to know the robots. But it might also be a good idea to give some just explore time. Like if you have your students in front of you and they haven't, experienced one of these robots before, just maybe give them some little time to try out the features, do a little bit of coding, because that will, I would sure, wouldn't you agree, Jonathan, make a little bit smoother of a lesson if they've at least like seen the robot and they've tried out a few of the features?
Yeah, I always find like the first time you give, if they've never seen these things, the first thing they're going to want to do is play, right? And so I always tell the kids to go play. Just have fun, right? The one thing about Dash you may want to think about, and same with probably Cody, be careful of where they place the robots, if they're on a table or on the floor, right? So, sometimes the younger kids get excited, they put them on the table, they turn it on, and they automatically go, because they're just like, woo, hi, and it talks to you, right? So it turns around and it's like, hello, and it starts moving, right, to the voices. So you want to make sure it's on the floor. I believe Cody Rocky does the same thing.
Yeah, for sure. And Cody Rocky, I think that is the one that has different speeds too, I think.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure Cody Rocky isn't just flying off the desk. So I should have had that in there, but maybe encourage robot exploration on the ground. I should have made this in there as well, but some other things to consider, teachers. You may want to just have some simple supplies. In a couple of videos, Dominic, you will see, has like the Duplo blocks. It doesn't have to be Duplo blocks, but because some of the robots the activities are kind of coding them to go in certain certain directions or around obstacles, you might want to just have some simple things ready at your disposal that students can use. It can be Lego, it could be Duplo, it could even just be some classroom supplies. I like using masking tape with the robots as well if you want to chart out different areas for the students to work in, because otherwise they will go all over the school with these robots. But if you want them to kind of stay within certain areas, or masking tape works really well for the navigational and mazes and charting them on different things. So I would have a few materials at the disposal that they can use obstacles. I think it's in the Cody Rocky or the Dash. Dominic does use plastic animals. You don't have to have plastic animals, but again, depending on how detailed of a zoo experience you would like, just having a few of those objects on hand. The next thing I would do as a teacher, and I mean, Jonathan, we're both on the front lines in schools all the time, is just decide on any potential groupings. So if you know you have 16 students with you and you know you only have 6 dashes, I would set up some groups. Based off what I've seen for Cody, Rocky, and Dash, I would say groups of 2 or 3 would be ideal if you can make that work, because I, like Jonathan, love hearing students think and their collaboration and coming up with solutions together. So typically groupings of 2 or 3 work best. So maybe you have a little flippity where you have all the names. Maybe you just want to have a little doc where they're all organized, but I'd have some little notes on potential groupings that you would like. And lastly, because students, these robots pique their curiosity so easily, and students have wild imaginations, it's okay if you want to pivot. It's okay, I think it's Cody Rocky where there's the visit to the zoo. If a student wants to do a visit to outer space, that's okay too. So if your student wants to do different planets, if they have a slightly different idea than the one sent out in the activity, just maybe and we're fully supportive of that, of course, but just don't be afraid to pivot here and there and let students go on some of the ventures with these robotics, because it's all beautiful learning. And if we can personalize it here and there, why not? Jonathan, anything else you would like, teacher tips that you can think of? Oh, you're muted. Quarter in the jar. Boop.
I do that. I know it's been so long since we've had to do these things. No, you have great ideas here. I do like the fact of playtime, giving kids the flexible groupings. Think about those partnerships. You probably don't have one-to-one robots, so it's important to have those groups, like you said. And then I painter's tape instead of masking tape, because your custodians will love you better with painter's tape.
Yeah, and it's hot, more visible. It's like the grass on the way to the different parts of the zoo. No, I agree. Thank you, Jonathan. So these are just our teacher tips to make sure your students have the best experience possible. We really look forward to you engaging your students in literacy and numeracy with robots. Again, reminding you that the first session kickstarts on Thursday with Little Dash. We're doing some storytelling with Dash, and it will be every Thursday for the following 4 weeks. Again, please just take a little note. They are lessons designed for slightly different grade levels. So choose the one of best fit. If you do have any questions, I should have said this earlier, but feel free to use the chat. I haven't seen any questions in there. But if you have any burning questions about these robots or this summer robotics series, please just quickly drop it in the chat so that we can answer it for you.
Or again, you can always email events@logicsacademy.com if you have questions, even after as we head near our end of our time. There's always someone there to answer that support.
Yeah, and they can always reach out to us too, or if there's something, you can even bring questions to the specific questions, or questions to the sessions.
Questions?
Yeah, bring the questions to your questions. No, they can come in the sessions as well, because sometimes maybe you won't know until you actually get started with them. So you'll have the ability to ask questions in these sessions as well. And here is the email. So if you do have supports, you can see the email there, events@logicsacademy.com. There's also further details about the summer series on our website, logicsacademy.com. And Jonathan and I are really excited to dive into the summer robotics series with you. Perfect. Anything else, Jonathan? We're good.
No, I think we're good. This is going to be a lot of fun. And that's the bottom line is, join for fun, see how we can have some fun with your kids. And honestly, it's these pause and plays are literally just pause and play.
Perfect. Well, we will see you soon and get those robots ready.
Take care.